Alrighty, everybody knows what time it is. I mentioned that it was going to be another list, a list on the bosses, and no one saw anything. So, I had to make the new tier list for the bosses, because they are different. Like, are there bosses that really just match up to the regular colors, or aren't as good as the other colors? There might be one or two, but I had to put them above everybody else, because they are better than everybody else. I had to put quite a bit of categories because I really don't know where everybody's going, but I've got a good idea. So let's talk about these bosses because there's a few that are just crazy, man. I want to get started first of all with Crusher. Now, if you haven't played the mod, you wouldn't expect where he's going. He is going all the way up here into demigod rank. It's not going to take much explanation as to why, but I'm going to give you a bit of explanation. So here's his after stats, which is basically almost what we're dealing with in the current version, but there's a bit of differences. I'm going to show that in a second, but I'm showing this now because I should have done it in the original video, but I did it in the first one. Anyway, the Crusher's damage was increased to 3,200 in total because there are 8 Crushes, which have more damage now. The damage is high. Ignore his health because it's even higher than that, and his speed, both of which are way higher now. So the speed was increased slightly on the Crushes, but it still feels like you're hanging on to him for like an hour. The regen time isn't bad. Now let me show you what we're really looking at. This is what we're really looking at. These are the current stats for his health being a whopping 22,000, one of the highest HP amounts in the game, and he is the first boss. His speed is at 155? My phone just did some weird flipping crap. 155, his handling is very serviceable, and his damage is 4,000. And he rams like a son of a gun. He hits hard. Because there's ram damage now. Might I remind you, all bosses except for RC Car and Super Thumper have amazing ram damage. Now here's the type of damage we're talking about if you just use machine guns and use the Crusher. Moonbuggy has pretty good health. I'm pretty sure it's 18,000, so I thought I'd use him as a good example. I took about a third of his health, and might I remind you, you can use way more than just the biting mechanic if you want to do damage to people with Crusher. Now if I grab him and I start launching some power missiles, some napalms, I can dish out half of his health. If I had heavier weapons, they'd take more than that. And his speed just, he feels like a whole different vehicle. I'm going to give like a bit of an example of the ram damage also, just for people to get the right idea. I needed someone big enough to actually test out the ram damage, while still, it's like about almost, 40% of his health is gone from one ram. I had to pick someone with lower armor so you kind of get the idea of how much you could do. And if they run into you, they're going to eat some ram damage too. So, let's say I'm Crusher, I want to go bam, and then start eating on them. They're going to eat some damage. I'm going to eat some cars, they're going to eat some damage. And his speed, the tankiness of this fella, and just the way he looks like a big old duck-billed fella. You can't go wrong with playing some Crusher. Like, I've been enjoying the heck out of playing Crusher since the new changes. Like, one special one with some machine guns, he's done. You can't tell me he's not a top-tier vehicle. Not at all. So there are 2 vehicles that belong up here in the Godslayer category. Throw it out there, Moonbuggy, and I'll get on to the other one in a second. Honestly, I could put Sweet Tooth up there because that's what people expect, but I'm throwing him down a bit below these guys in this category because the time to kill is just maddening with this fella. I'll give you an example because I talked about this a bit, but I said there were 2 characters that could kill faster than Sweet Tooth. Now you do have to have specials stocked up, but this is mainly why he kills so fast. Pedro dropped the initial strikes from 8,000 to 1,000. You can dump out specials a hell of a lot faster, and the duration's even longer. The special damage is a bit higher, which really, even if it was 5, it doesn't matter. You can stock up to 12 of these bad boys. with a 30-second cooldown, you could wait until the boss fight and stalk him up. You should have about 7 or 8 if you kill him pretty quick. 7 to 8 specials, you don't need 7 to 8. Oh, and if anyone's wondering, the damage got buffed even further. Way higher in my opinion. I mean, just, 8's not even necessary, because even when it was 7, I was murdering people. More health just to offend people even more. Okay, I'm gonna give an example of how much damage you can do to somebody. I use Crusher as my example because, we know he has 22,000 health. Look at that. That's just 4 specials stocked up. Alright, now I thought I'd give an example. Like, what is Sweet Tooth gonna do when I do this? Like, look at the poor bastard. Dead, eh? Yeah, I used a shield, but I didn't have to because it didn't even get to the phase where they start blowing up. Like, and on a regular map, I've got places to go. I gotta wait, 30 seconds? And I can go and, just downright dump my shots out, use the reader spam glitch, and melt Sweet Tooth. I don't give a damn what you say. He's better than Sweet Tooth. It's better if you're facing him, though. Like, while your ass is facing him. But even now... What is he gonna do about that? He froze me. Which is the only reason he had a lead on me, but you just gotta point your ass at him. I just thought I'd give an example with my ass actually pointing at him. Way faster. You just gotta literally shit on him. Moonbuggy, better than Sweet Tooth. And that's where he's gonna stay, above Sweet Tooth. Now, Super Thumper. I made a mistake. I forgot it was changed quite a bit. The delay was cut down to 10,800, so was the duration. So basically, you have to hit it the second it ends if you want to have it back to back. But the range is increased, and I'll show you what I mean by increased range because it looks kind of nuts. Okay, so I'm gonna show first the initial damage and then the new range, because look at that damage. Almost half his health. And here's the range. As you can see, it looks like there's almost like a second pillar of fire going on, like right in front of it. Like a bit smaller, but yeah, he's also got decreased ram defense and damage, so he actually takes a lot of damage getting rammed by the bigger cars, including Trash Man. You can actually ram through him with Trash Man. Please don't do that. But yeah, he can get rammed to death by a non-boss vehicle. Which actually, man, I'd probably put him around a maximum threat level, just like some of the better vehicles. It's not that he's bad. Yeah, I'm actually gonna have to bump him down. It's just the fact that with ram damage being so effective, especially with the mechanics of the game, the physics, you can knock people around in such a way that, you can get some pretty obscure kills on a boss by ramming him with a regular vehicle. Doesn't mean he's bad. I can't go that harsh on him. I'm gonna put him at potential threat mainly because he's a very fast car. He's got very good damage. You can use, moves and skills while you've got, while you've got them frozen and burning. You could dump missiles on him, throw an auto lob, since it doesn't really move him around that much after Pedro's mod. He's still got stuff going for him that makes him better than every other base vehicle, except Calypso. He could just nuke him to death. But the Ram just puts him below the Life Taker and Warlord levels, even Conqueror. Now I want to talk about RC Car. I'm not going to put him up there in Godslayer. He's going to go up to the Warlord level. But that doesn't mean he's bad. I've been having fun with this guy. Now he is the second case where he can kill faster than Sweet Tooth if you stalk. I mean, look at how fast those lasers come out. And, what are you gonna do about that? If I had one more special stocked up already, he'd be dead. Because they just come out so fast, and they melt health and like to a whole nother level. What are you supposed to do about that? He's a little guy. He's not fast. Like, if you look at him, he goes 120-ish. Yeah, 120. He's kind of fragile. He's one of those cars that get hurt very easily by ram. But the special alone, man, that put him. RC car got increased special damage by 48%. The duration of the laser is even longer, so you got more damage time. His delay was dropped even lower than it shows right here, and he can get up to 10 specials that come back in a measly 40 seconds. He's got the lowest health of any car in the boss section, but he can shoot these lasers even faster than Moonbuggy can throw his specials out, which means he kills even faster than Moonbuggy. He has the fastest time to kill. You just have to stock up 2 more specials, and there's no boss that can take that kind of damage. In one freeze, you can kill a Sweet Tooth, no problem, with 5 specials. I think I misplaced. He was misplaced. He belongs up here, right next to Moonbuggy. He is a God Slayer, even with his low health. Health doesn't matter. If you freeze him before you even get close, you got enough energy for a second freeze. You just need 5 specials and it's game over. You're not going to struggle playing RC car as long as you know how to use your thumbs. Now we have Super Axel. He's up here on Warlord. There's a couple interesting things to state about him. I feel like I should state them now. Otherwise I'd be a criminal and I'm not doing my job right. Ignore some of these numbers. We're gonna go look back at the ones that changed. But firstly, we have his regen time, fastest other than Micro Blast at 25 seconds. He can stock up 12 of these special attacks. The knockback stayed the same, but everything else changed. Yeah, my fingers don't work, but he got 17,500 health, which is still pretty good, man. That's boss health. His handling was increased, his speed was increased to 160, his damage was increased to 2,700, and his area was increased to 20,000. That's a pretty damn big wave. So I should also mention, on top of all these strange changes, there's his damage, by the way. He just sends people flipping on their backs. There have been a couple other changes too with Axel. Easy kills. He can go 160 forward, but he's one of those few cars that can also go backwards at up to 170, 80. You can keep ramping up his speed. I think the maximum I've gotten is 185 without turbo. Let me see if I can boost it up with the turbo. I'll probably go about 180 going backwards, and I think it's cool because he's 2 wheels. He's like he's an axle. He's a wheel's axle, and he is in between the 2 wheels. You can drive him in reverse. You can drive him forward. Now the only problem is trying to stop him. He's very hard to stop from moving. Whether you're going forward or backwards, he takes a second to stop. He's one of them heavy cars. Usually heavy cars in Pedro's mod are harder to stop, so you have to give it a bit of build up. Make sure you know when you're stopping. Make sure you know when you're going to continue moving. You have to be prepared to stop, because he is really hard to stop. So I'm going to go about 120 miles. Now I'm trying to go reverse. This is how hard it is to go in reverse. Oh, I'm frozen. Oh, you can see what I mean, though. And that's where he belongs. I think Super Slam, we should talk about this right now. The Slam characters aren't that bad, but I just don't like him enough. The Trash Man, Super Slam, I don't like him enough to put him up in the highest ranks. But Super Slam is definitely good. He's got a good old 20,000. He's got 150 speed. He can handle pretty well, and he can ram someone pretty well. His damage was, 150% increased. He got double the slams. He got more damage on slams. And you slam faster, so you're still done in relatively the same time. And you get them regenerated even faster. there's a lot of things going for this guy that makes him really good, very good. And I'm gonna give an example right now. So you're gonna get kind of a general idea how much damage he does just off machine guns and the slam. A third of his health and damage. You know, I'm basically battling someone with just as much durability, but you'll notice I'm also a heavy vehicle. It's very hard to stop, even though I can go all the way up to 150 on my speed. That's pretty good, man. Like, Pedro did these melee special characters very well. He can stop faster than Super Axel, but that still doesn't mean he can stop fast. You know, he's held a bit back by his handling, but it's not stopping him from achieving greatness. He's still really good. You can still catch up with people. And there's some, you know, some fragile vehicles that go slower than that. So, like, really, he's, you know, he's as good as the beholder makes him. Boom, I don't like you. Get out of here. Get out of here. Oh, well, never mind, I paid for it. But that is why he is at the life taker position. Super auger. Had to put Buster Cobb there. For others, I would put, you know, Conqueror, because I don't know how people feel about him. But I feel like he's above Super Slam, in my opinion. Demigod, because I've played him, and I feel like he does way more than people give him credit for. He had a damage increase by almost over double. I said almost over double. His duration had an increase. His regen was decreased to 55. Ignore the health stats and the speed, because now he's moving at 150. He has better handling. He has the same amount of ram damage increase as Super Slam. He does have lower health than Super Slam, but I feel like he's better. I don't know, like his machine gun pattern's better for hitting people when they're moving in a certain direction. He just feels like the better of the two vehicles, and I could be wrong. But I just feel like he can, you know, maneuver better. Like, he stops faster. You are a freaking dick, dude. Get that. Pedro, I do have to mention, this is one aggravating Twisted Metal 2 thing that these characters love to do, is just spam freezes. And might I remind you, I put it on easy just so I could show people what they do. Now, as you can see, he does roughly the same amount of damage. It's just the fact that he's, let's flip out real quick. It's just the fact that he's, you know, he doesn't get enough time for the machine guns to do the damage like Super Slam gets. But, I feel like it's just easier to play him. He has better control. It just feels like he handles better. So I'm gonna leave him in Demigod, mainly because, you know, he's a bit smaller vehicle. It feels easier to control him. Now, Minion, Godslayer, no question about it. Pedro treated this man with too much respect. Honestly, Pedro, if you're hearing this, I think he needs nerfed. He's too good now. He's also, I forgot to mention this too. Depending on where they fly when his special lands, he could even kill faster than Sweet Tooth. Now, I'll just show you. Now, Minion's special damage is 2,000 for each missile, so in total it's 4,000 with the freeze. He moves relatively fast. It's slower than the original vanilla game, but that doesn't matter. Look at his ram offensive at 119%. He has the highest ram damage. I think I've given an example with Microblast as to how hard he could ram, so I'm not even... I'll show it. But his special speed's a bit slower, so it homes even better, on top of the increased homing. And with 23,000 damage, how could you go wrong? Now, Serpents regenerate so fast, I don't even know where to begin with them. This poor son of a gun is gonna eat some ram damage. I just missed. But, yeah, he's gonna eat some damage. And, yeah, they do regenerate fast, though, man. Let me dump these away from him. Yeah, you kind of get how high the damage can go, though. Like, it's pretty good. Now, I do want to give an example of ram damage on an average size vehicle. They're not really scared to run into you, so you won't struggle with that. That was with me tripping up. If I'm hitting turbo, look at that, just chunks. If they run into you while you're turboing, they take even more. what, three rams and a bump, and he's halfway dead. So on top of these serpents that just charge so fast, I've already got a fifth one. Let's see, we got three. Let's see how long it takes. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I shot one. This map. So I'm just gonna give you an example of what the hell you're dealing with. Playing his minion. Usually people wouldn't fall off the map like that. Oh no, he actually made it back up. But I feel like Minion's one of those characters I can confidently combat Sweet Tooth on in an average map. This map is just ridiculous. Like Sweet Tooth's no longer the big dog. There are people that can take him on. Like not only take him on, but take him head on. Watch, when he's back, he's dead. Unless I die first. Is it? I've never seen him launch two, but still, on a regular map where I've actually got some weapons stocked up, I have no fear fighting them. I'm gonna give an example. If I do some lives or something, or some gameplays. Yeah, that's where Minion's gonna stay. And I mean, Sweet Tooth, everybody wants him to be up here in Godslayer because that's how good he is, but he's getting pegged down a notch. Mainly because he doesn't kill as fast, even though it's mindless. I still feel like it's more mindless just to, pile everybody up, dump a few Moonbuggy specials, and kill 3-4 people at a time. That's it. That's the tier list. Now I'm gonna show you what's going on with Sweet Tooth. Because things did change. He got 25,000 health, so he has the highest health. And the duration on his first skull was increased, his second one, and his third one. Now, I'm not sure exactly what infinite means for the flame. I'm pretty sure that just means until it blows up. Because I think the flame stops in the original game, like before it blows up. But they do move faster. He actually has head damage. I didn't know that the head, and it could burn people, but I guess it can. But it's also longer and wider. Now, he can launch them faster, but I still don't feel like, even with a 30-second regen time, he could top some people. Like, you're not in any danger playing him, but then again, if you know what you're doing, you're not in danger with everyone else that's up on the list. The top of the list. People just expect him to be at the top. I expect him to be at the top. And Pedro, he did good. Like, don't get me wrong, he did good. He changed the tier list. In my opinion, there are better vehicles than Sweet Tooth now. And whether he's the final boss or not, it doesn't matter. I like the fact that the tier list, in my opinion, feels like it legitimately changed. Like, if I was frozen and I had Sweet Tooth on my head on one end, and I have, like, RC Car on another, I'm gonna be worried about RC Car more than Sweet Tooth. Because Sweet Tooth, I can get away from him, but I'm not gonna survive the freeze with RC Car. So I think I put him in the right place. So this is the tier list, everybody. Final tier list. Go nuts with it. Do what you want with it. Pedro, you did a fantastic job. I don't think I could thank you enough for making it, man. You did an excellent job balancing this out. And just because, Thumper is down at the potential threat level doesn't mean he isn't threatening. Like, I didn't just base this off of damage, but the potential of damage, and the changes to the vehicles and the positive notion, which all of them had positive changes. There was nothing negative to anybody. Like, not even Rob Zombie, even though I mentioned it before, but everything's good, man. So have a nice day. Random disclaimer: if you have a heavy car that usually has bad control, they usually boost forward even faster on these little pads. They have a very, very, very heavy front weight. 300 miles per hour if you play a smaller vehicle, except for Orbital for some reason, he goes up to like 300. They'll usually reach up to the upper hundreds, but they won't go higher than 200 at the most. You've been warned, your car is heavy, now you know why you're flying in it. Drive with caution, my friends. Have a nice day. Oh, here I am killing everybody, by the way. Though I might put that in there. Poor son of a gun. Poor son of a gun. Yeah, you poor bastard.
Yeah, we don't have any.
Have a nice day, my friends.